So, that's it, huh?
Yep, we will return in 2022.
Yeah, it was me. I did it. I delayed RWBY Volume 9. I know what you're asking, Eric, how is that physically even possible? And yeah, that's what I thought until it happened. So yeah, my bad, totally jinxed it, mistakes were made, it won't happen again. And with that, let's start the video.
Sarcastically Explained, RWBY Volume 9. RWBY Volume 9 is the follow-up to RWBY Volume 8. I'm unsure of how many times I keep making this joke, but with Volume 10 not being greenlit as of now, well, hopefully many more times. We pick up right where we left off, that is to say, everything going wrong everywhere all at once. We're in definitely not Wonderland, a promised Neverland if you will, or an after that's ever present. Which means, RWBY is an isekai now. Yep, I was fighting Cinderella, but now I'm dealing with my issues in another world, is this season's 1 billionth isekai edition. RWBY is sad. Understandable. So she gets an emotional support mouse to cope with it. Oh yeah, they talk by the way.
I could try.
RWBY describes her teammates and commits an insensitivity towards Blake.
Well, cat ears.
Let's bookmark that for later.
Speaking of Blake, she and Weiss have found each other and are trying to find everyone else. And another point for Monochrome. Also, happy Weiss, happy life. Gee, I wonder who Crumbling Cube thinks best girl is. Weiss and Blake almost get killed by a village of mice. That's some Tom and Jerry if I've ever seen it. But everything is cleared up when Ruby and Little, oh yeah, the mouse's name is Little by the way, come and clear things up. Okay, but where's Yang?
I said I wasn't done with you yet!
Here's the Yang, and she wants to fight! No, but really, part of me thinks this is Yang's coping mechanism. Mommy ran away? Punch something. Crush ran away? Punch something. An entire country fell on your watch? Punch the hell out of something. In this case, that something is a Jabberwocker. It hunts the denizens of the Ever After to make sure they don't ascend. More on that in a sec. Also, they speak in this very hard to understand voice because of all these filters, and it's not helped by the fact that there are no English subtitles. Crunchyroll. What the hell? Weiss, after a brief moment of vulnerability, continues her policy of conceal, don't feel, instead becoming this volume's comic relief. Why? Well, because despite her cool exterior, Weiss Schnee is in fact a dork. And so, Team RWBY finds themselves in a fairy tale, specifically The Girl Who Fell Through the World, which was specifically foreshadowed here, and is specifically based on Alice in Wonderland. So, simple right? Follow in Alex's footsteps, get to the tree, and get home. Well, no. Along the way they meet a colorful cast of characters, like Jinxie the Raccoon, a pirate auctioneer who stole Yang's arm, and Penny's sword. Wait a sec. By God, that's Jello Apocalypse! And then there is the Red Prince, who is also an extremely mid-apple, who also challenges Team RWBY to a game of wizard chess. Unfortunately for him, this somewhat redhead ain't a Weasley. That's right. Gamer Ruby Rose plays the Queen's Gambit, which is an extremely complex move in which RWBY say screw the rules, we have the power of violence. Beth Harmon, eat your heart out. And last but not least, they meet the Curious Cat, a character dedicated to absolutely demolishing the fourth wall, which I did appreciate because, hey, I've made some of these jokes before. Okay, so simple, right? Just follow the cat. Well, no, because cats are assholes, said the League of Legends player. Also, they can't follow it because they keep losing it. But no time for that. Here's Neo. Yep, still adorable. Also, her semblance may or may not have gotten an upgrade. And she may or may not have murdered and absorbed the Jabberwocker. Also, call me a crazy conspiracy theorist, but I think this world is related to the brothers. Wait, where were we? Oh yeah, the cat. They lost it again. But here's the herbalist, who prescribes Team RWBY some of that sweet ganja. Also, funny enough, these look like maple leaves. Which means, yep, the Ever After is actually Canada, eh? Oh, Ever After, our home and native land. In the Hotbox session and all Hotbox sessions, all of Team RWBY reaffirm themselves, except for Ruby, because she needs a little more time. But the cat interrupts for some reason. Again, bookmark that for later. The cat then leads Team RWBY to the market for the ingredients to an unshrinking potion. Professor Snape would not be impressed by the lack of potions knowledge here. This is also where RWBY begins confronting her mommy issues and talks it out with Forge Mommy. But no time for that. Neapolitan's Jabberwockers attack, but they're attacked in turn by the Rusted Knight, who's in turn revealed to be Jean-Arc, who in turn exposes Weiss's deeply rooted daddy issues? Whew! White Knight Shipper's eating good this volume. Huh. You know, the Fate fan in me was fully ready to see the rest of the night actually be a cute anime girl, but then again, this is the show that made Joan of Arc a dorky anime lad, so I guess it's on brand. Speaking of daddy issues, Jean's aged up. Like, a lot. Because he touched this fruit. Also, the cat might not have been a good cat after all, and cat owners everywhere are shocked. It turns out that going to the tree and activating it might be... death? 343 Guilty Spark, is that you? Reclaimer, you must go to the tree. But no time for tenuous analogies because they're in a ponderstorm, or ponderstorm. Again, would have been nice to have those subtitles, Crunchyroll. And I suppose this would be a good time to mention how the fairy tale wasn't all that accurate. And another prediction for RWBY thoughts.
She was a bit of a brat, truth be told. They do never dwell on the negatives in the story.
But anyways, our heroes are stuck here until they get over something. The something? Well, trauma, and Bumblebee finally happens! And I'm sure there's no discourse about this in the comments down below whatsoever, but please, in case there is, be nice to each other. And per the song's lyrics, in the garden, in the sun, but not alone because then everyone sees what they're doing. And John says what we were all thinking.
Feels like I've been waiting forever for that.
And speaking of Jean, what's he been doing for this indeterminate amount of time alone? Well, aside from looking for a way out, he's been living in the village of the Paper Pleasers. Paper Staryus and Starmies, if you will. Oh, and they try to ascend every day. So Jean tries to stop them. Every day. With all the energy of a traumatized, overprotective single dad. Every day.
I know it!
If that sounds completely crazy, it's because, well, it is. Isolation does that to a guy, alright? Oh yeah, and the Ascension thingy isn't actually all that scary if you're from the Ever After. According to the Paper Pleasers, it's not really death but more so of a transformation. Again, bookmark that for later because there's a Jabberwocker. Everyone kicks ass, except for RWBY, who's dealing with some intense PTSD. Jean's a bit short with RWBY until the Paper Pleasers decide to ascend. Jean's distraught. Blake's an emotional support cat. So is Juniper. Oh yeah, the rabbit deer thing's called Juniper, by the way. Weiss asks a question. And oh boy, does RWBY ever have an answer. And thus, Salty Ruby Rose well and truly becomes canon. Also, she's homophobic.
We're all so happy for you.
Okay, never mind. Walk all that back because this isn't RWBY Thoughts Ruby Rose. I want no part of this. Because she's also speciesist. And she basically calls the people pleasers not real people. And you know who's not pleased by that? Yeah, Sean. And he lets her know.
お前が自分のことを授かった恩恵だと言い張ってることだよ。お前ふざけんなよ。何が恩恵だ。お前を返品して特殊能力でももらえるものならとっとと返品してやるところだ。
Everyone gets all their feelings out. Blake is the positive one for once. Only for RWBY to tell her to shut up, and this begs the uncomfortable question.
Is RWBY Rose cancelable? Well, good viewers, let's examine the question. Who is RWBY Rose? RWBY Rose is a huntress. What does a huntress do? Well, a huntress allegedly protects people. Has RWBY Rose done that? Well, let's examine the evidence. She accosted and tried to silence a minority. A minority woman. A minority woman in a same-sex interracial relationship. The last nail in the coffin? This racist gesture right here. There are other ways to describe people, RWBY Rose. Yes, Blake Belladonna is a person. My good viewers, I rest my case. RWBY Rose is a bigot and therefore cancelable. Okay, I'm like joking here, but like actually hearing that out loud, I think someone would actually unironically say that. So yeah, that was a joke. That was a joke. Do not clip that and take it out of context, okay? That was a joke.
RWBY runs away. There is a mysterious house, and readers of this book are understandably excited about this. We hear Billy Kometz as Roman.
Hello, Red.
No jokes or snark here. Rest in peace, Billy. Neo finally gets to talk. Through Roman. Also, we dispel any ambiguity as to what their relationship is. A girl and her dum-dum. It's a beautiful thing.
Hey, so yeah, Sarcastically Explained by design is meant to be a very lighthearted and snark-filled look back at TV shows, but this next section does contain some very dark humor and discussions around the themes of suicide and self-harm. Also, just some really hard to look at shots of RWBY getting beaten up. So if that's not your thing, feel free to jump to this timestamp right here.
Neo wants to inflict a horrible, painful death onto RWBY. But counterpoint, duh, who's an adorable sadistic murderer? Oh yes you are! And here to help her do that are a cast of people that RWBY let down. And Lionheart. He embarrassed himself in front of Derek Jeter. Neo really wants to have a tea party with RWBY. RWBY says no. Neo gets quite upset about it. RWBY gets beaten up and down, psychologically and physically. This is horrible, but once again counterpoint, Neo's adorable. How supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. And to add some further levity to this very dark situation, Oscar and Ozpin are here too. I'm fairly sure I died because of Mr. Ock's negligence, but Miss Rose, omae wa mou shinderu. Also, Oscar's here.
Yay! I get to be in this volume!
Oh no, I forgot. My purpose is to suffer. RWBY.
Neo tortures RWBY until she no longer wants to live or be Ruby Rose, which is confusing and a bit problematic if I'm being completely honest. Does she want RWBY dead or not? Ascension was previously revealed to be a good thing, but now it's framed up as something that Neo is trying to torture RWBY into? Huh? Is there an episode missing or something? Either way, RWBY's ready to drink the tea until the cat arrives. And yeah, turns out the cat isn't an asshole. It is completely demonic. Is that the moral of this volume? All cats are assholes? Oh, sorry, Blake, I forgot. I think of you as a person, not a cat. But yeah, turns out the cat was trying to take over RWBY's body to go after his makers, the brothers. Little tries to help.
You're not a friend!
Neo's not happy about this. The cat's not happy about Neo not being happy about this. Little tries to help again. Little is no longer able to help. RWBY and John arrive just in time to see... yeah. I don't like this scene. It really just felt like it undermined Ascension and RWBY's journey. And it felt like, to me at least, it was unintentionally getting the point across of the way to accept yourself and that you are enough is to get broken down so much to the point where you drink the tea that erases you to escape the pain. Again, are we missing an episode? And speaking of that, now Neo also has no reason to keep going, so the cat sees her as the perfect vessel, which is great for the cat, but creates a super OP final boss that our heroes must face. We get to hear Summer's voice. Surprise, she was the narrator. Jean finally comes to terms with what happened in Atlas through the Ascended Paper Pleasers, now known as the Genial Gems. And another point for White Knight. For a ship that's allegedly not happening, it's getting a lot of development. Team Woovie and John then get transported to the tree, where they find out Ascension isn't all that bad, which, I must say again, do they realize what they're implying here? Because as a viewer of Genlock Season 2, I'm getting very, very concerned. They do battle with Cat Neo, who, shocker, can't return to Remnant because Neo has no reason to go back whatsoever. Sorry, Cindy, you aren't living in Neo's head rent-free anymore. Also, the cat killed Alex. And turns out Lewis was the one who wrote the story. This really upsets Jean because, not being able to save women in Jean arc. Name a more iconic duo, I'll wait. And if it's not obvious by now, the cat is super frickin' evil. Like, just look at this psychological warfare here. In the interdimensional medium, RWBY meets with Forge Mommy once again. RWBY tries to figure herself out, and we get confirmation that this is indeed Summer Rose's weapon. And speaking of Summer, looks like there's more to her last mission than we previously thought. And here's Tsundere Burb Mom. Also, that smile is terrifying and Rose-alike. Did Summer and Raven both run away from Ty and the kids? Was Ty's harem actually just Summer's harem? Find out next time on Raven and Summer's Bizarre Adventure. Jean finally, well and truly, comes to terms with himself. Neo gets super high and throws out the cat. Ruby rejects instrumentality. Ascension. Congratulations! And she accepts that she is enough. And she wants to still be Ruby Rose from RWBY, and not that other Ruby Rose. Fuck, oh, that's Ruby Rose's music! Red Like Roses Part 3, baby! The cat gets trounced and absolutely Oscared. Yep, that is a verb now. Neo finally accepts Roman's death, and thus the fan favorite takes the bow and exits stage left. Everyone goes home, but not before we see an ascended Little, who is somewhat bigger. The team step through the gate to receive an absolute lore bomb. Turns out Forge Mommy may or may not be the tree and is actually the Universe Mommy. And the brothers are actually Afterans who left the cat and Jabberwocker in charge before going off to Remnant. So what's going to happen to the Ever After Neo? Well, that's a story for another time. Maybe. Also, Jean's young again. And one more point for White Knight for the road. And thus, the team arrives right when they are needed in Vacuo.
And that was RWBY Volume 9, Sarcastically Explained. If you like this video, remember to hit like. Also, let me know what you thought of Volume 9 and what you want to see for Volume 10 down in the comments below. Also, YouTube said you might like this video next. I'm not sure they're right, but in the case they aren't, I recommend this one, handpicked by me. Also, remember to subscribe and turn notifications. That way you know when the next video comes out. And as always, thank you for watching.